This is Klashad with 323, and here is our next build, an Africa coffee table. If you're watching this and you consider yourself a builder, a creator, maybe you've been for a while, maybe you're still trying to convince yourself that you are. Wherever you are in your journey, I would think that you'll understand what I'm about to say. It would be a gross understatement if I told you there was times when this table made me nervous. In fact, there were days, weeks, where I was outright anxious on whether or not I could complete this project. I mean, what was I doing? Why did I even think to take this on? Had I ever worked with a piece this large? No. Had I ever poured as much epoxy as this table would take? No. Had I ever, at least, built a coffee table before? No. Have I ever been to Africa before? About the only claim I'd ever have to Africa is... Listen, all I'm saying is that this was nerve-wracking. And on top of that, it's not like we weren't busy enough already. Our oldest learned to drive, started her first job, she's already beginning the prep work for college, and in her own right has an insane schedule. Our second oldest became our second high schooler and unfortunately had his second consecutive year break at the start of a football season. Our third decided to pick up cross country, and dare I say, had quite a knack for it. Number 4 continues to be healthy, and along with school activities and doctor's appointments, he became the heart prince for the Omaha chapter of the American Heart Association. And then there's our youngest, also known as my shop captain. She is continuing her study of dance genres and still giving her special kind of happy to our home. And as if we didn't have enough going on, my wife and I became landlords for the first time, flipping and preserving a home that has been in her family for more than 60 years. Whew. It was busy, to say the least. Why am I sharing all of this with you? Despite the insanity that life seems to bring, we are meant to create. Creating can be stressful at first. Trust me, I've only been doing this for a little over 2 years and still have many moments where I feel like I'm way over my head. I keep pushing though, because in the act of creating, there are these moments of peace. I realize that cultivating a skill set around a healthy habit helps to bring patience and kindness. It helps us recognize the beauty of the people and the things that God has placed all around us. If there's one favor I could ask of you, I had 3 words on my heart when it came to creating this piece: powerful, timeless, and distinct. Let me know if you think I accomplished that. With that said, I don't plan on talking this entire video. I'll chime in from time to time to give an understanding to certain things, and then again at the end for a few closing comments. If there's something said or something that impacts you throughout this video, do me a favor, because you're part of this. Hit the like button for me. Share your thoughts in the comment section and subscribe. We want to go through this journey with you. And if I haven't said it already, thanks for being here. Enjoy the rest of the video. Let me point out a couple of things to you when it comes to these epoxy pours. You're going to see me accomplish this using several pours, partially because this was my first deep pour project, And secondly, because like the ocean, I wanted to have some depth to this body of water. And I thought I could accomplish that by diversifying the colors. If you're wondering, why green? So this customer's favorite color was emerald green. So by request, you're going to see green variations of epoxy all used to accomplish this custom build. One of the things I think I'll need to get better at is figuring out how to keep the textures of the pigment when poured. I noticed over time the pigment settles and I lost some of the texture I saw when it was first poured. Here is yet another area of this table that came with a specific request, which was to have gold represented in the table. I would have loved to have this split in the wood to be perfectly placed on the right side of this piece so that we could just call it the Nile River, but it wasn't. So instead, I decided to represent the royalty and the beauty of the continent by including hints of many other colors that represented the culture. I'll admit, the most challenging thing for me about creating is not knowing if you've taken an idea too far. The benefit of doing it anyway is finding refinement in your style, in your skill, and in your craftsmanship. In other words, take the risk. At worst, you end up more refined. Speaking of being refined, my family and I actually had an opportunity to visit an art studio in our local area by an artist named Kaneko, who's actually known worldwide, and that experience definitely encouraged me to put everything I could into this project. So one cool technique that I learned while doing this project is that if you get wood thin enough and you basically let it rest in hot water, you can actually bend it. So I use that technique to put these legs together and take that aspen wood and veneer the legs. But then later you'll actually see box elder wood as the veneer on the legs, and that's because when I put the aspen legs and the box elder Africa table together, it didn't match up right. So I decided to go ahead and change that out. Let me know if you think it works, or if maybe I should have kept the aspen wood as a contrast.
could have. I could have.
Okay, note to self, pick better camera angles, 1, and 2, the Tyvek tape allowed for the base to come off really easy, but the sides, I don't know, it could have been user error, but I'm gonna go with a solid B. Also, in a second here, you're gonna see a white border. When I removed the current edge of the table and refined it, I showed it to the customer and they actually had the idea of adding a white border. I was, of course, nervous about this because we had done so much work on this table so far, but you know, I thought it worked out, and I'm kind of wondering, what do you think?
I could have.
Flattening Store. Alright, so we're here at Knotheads. There's the table. They got it all flat. I get to take it back to the shop and get it all sanded. Let me show you this a little bit. So their planer puts these little grooves in it, but it'll be nothing to like just hit this with 80 grit sandpaper and then move up to 180 and 220, 320 from there, and then put a polish on it. So I'm excited to get this back to my shop. Got my little helper with me. Say hello.
Hello.
It's like, I didn't know I'd be on camera. All right, should be back in my shop here in just a few minutes. So cool. As we wrap this one up, let me leave you with this. Life will offer its distractions and responsibilities, some good and maybe some not so good. It has a chaos all its own. However, in a world full of anxiety and impracticality, one very convenient remedy to finding peace and showing people a little bit of love could be to pause and learn to create. And that wraps up another one from 323. I appreciate you guys watching. And remember, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Now, go create something amazing.
Looks better on the other side.